I see my inputs as key to how we think about industrialization as a foundation for economic growth, particularly in developing countries, and really bridging the boardrooms to society at large. So Anglo-American is well positioned. We're a global diversified miner, anchored in South Africa in terms of our roots, but really operating across the world in multi-commodities. So our ability to bring that technical know-how, but also the relationships that go with mining and with broad ecosystems is really, really important. We've got vast experience in how we engage with governments, with local host communities, with different industry sectors, both at the verticals and the horizontals. That unique value proposition of Anglo-American is really its differentiated value case and contribution to the discussions that are held at both the B20 and more broadly at the G20. For me, this is exceptionally special. The fact that South Africa is hosting the G20 in itself is amazing. But more importantly is the context of Africa in that global agenda. Now, we all know there's a race for critical minerals. We all know that the mining sector is integral to any industrial future. We provide the minerals and metals for modern society, and they're in the link in this particular B20 workstream from an Anglo-American mining perspective. Most importantly for me is how do we amplify Africa's challenges, but also Africa's opportunities. We know that we've got a skills challenge in Africa. We do know that we've got a burgeoning youth population that is hungry for opportunity. We know that we've got infrastructure challenges and SME development. So it's in that context of how do we create local solutions that will leapfrog Africa's challenges and really make it a beneficial proposition from an industrial foundation perspective. But most importantly for me, Africa is well endowed with the metals and minerals that we require for modern society. And to date, Africa has played as the supplier of those minerals and metals. We've often been seen as the periphery. What we need to do for Africa is move the agenda, not just to be the supplier, but really to be the key cog in driving the industrial agenda for mining. And that's what's exciting about Africa's dominance in that metals and mining space and the ability to contribute to industrialization. When we think about this particular task force, which is the Industrial Transformation and Innovation Task Force, it's quite a broad task force. It really talks to a manufacturing base. But there's so many other intersections that play in. So what I would really want to see is that we move beyond just policy recommendations, and those policy recommendations become tangible actions that are specific for a country. These are the frameworks. But we really need to think about how do we translate this into skills that drive industrial transformation? How do we think about the entire value chain that goes with industrialization and how the different players feed into it in their different parts so that you have a very sustainable future? In my world, how would this really translate for South Africa and for the African continent? The key thing here is if we are really looking at driving an industrial transformation and an industrial sector that's healthy, our skills around vocational training and technical skill training really needs to be transformed. It needs to be turned around. Ideally, if you really want an outcome from all of this, in a few years' time, we would be happy to stand here. I'd be happy to stand here and say that we've transformed our TVETs in South Africa to be, economic hubs that drive entrepreneurship that can contribute to industrialization of our country. That's the true outcomes of the B20 workstream. It's turning words into actions. One thing is hard to say, but I think for me, Anglo-American is more than just being a sponsor or a funder of the B20. What we bring to the table is lived experiences working in different climates. We bring technical know-how, and we bring a listening and contributing voice to the dialogues. For me, Anglo American has the proof points. We've worked in difficult climates across the continent, across the world, and we've proven that we're there for the long haul. We take what is a conceptual study to be a feasibility study with commercial underpinnings, and we make that a reality over a number of years. And throughout that process, we bring in all of the key players. Society at large, at the end of the day, is the greatest benefactor of our projects and our mining activities. So it's that experience that makes it really important in terms of how we contribute to the B20. And being able to listen to these varied perspectives is the true value of the task force. And you know, leadership is critical. We've had the ability to be chaired by our chair, Andrew Kirby, on this task force, and be supported through knowledge partners, McKinsey and team, who have helped shape the dialogue and formulate very diverse viewpoints into quite a succinct framework, which I'm exceptionally proud of contributing to, and the outcome that has come out of all of this hard work.